Hey everyone, this is my project Crochet Parade hosted on CrochetPARADE.org. The goal of this project is to take in crocheting instructions and create a two-dimensional or three-dimensional models of the project which you designed here on the left and render that project in 3 dimensions, as you can see here on the right. The website, as well as the computational engine, is licensed under an open source license, which means it's freely available to everybody to use and to distribute and to change as they see fit. The goal of my project is to help designers of crochet patterns in their design process. Hopefully, it definitely helps me anyway. Hopefully it will help you speed up your design process, because you can always just change some of these instructions, type whatever you want to type, and hit Shift Enter or calculate and show model in 3D. You can press that button as well and get a 3-dimensional rendering of your model, as well as all kinds of information, including whether stitches are too stretched or too loose, and you can always replace stitches as you see appropriate. The project can also, hopefully, will also help crocheters that want to follow a pattern. Let's say a designer has shared this text with somebody over the internet, and that person can just come to the CrochetPARADE.org website, paste those instructions, create the model, show it here on the right hand side, and well, start from 0. Okay, and let's see. As you're crocheting, you can actually see how stitches attach to each other, and let me just demonstrate it quickly. You can see all kinds of information showing up here in the top side, in the top of the panel. I'm going to actually hide it for now. So you can follow again how stitches attach to each other. So if any part of the project is confusing, you can always come back to this 3-dimensional view and see, okay, so in this project, stitches first are attached in rounds and then in rows as one is crocheting the cuff of the baby booty. Okay, so what other information can you see here? Well, if you zoom in and you select, let me show the information again, and you hover over any of the stitches, it gives you all kinds of information again. I'm going to start from the beginning of the project, so I'm going to turn the booty upside down, oops, and go right here. So this is the beginning of the project right there, and let me select that stitch. So as you can see, this is the beginning right here, which starts after the definition of the color of the booty. In this case it will be violet. There is a definition of a stitch, which we can talk about at a later time. But anyway, the project starts with 9 chains and a turn. So this here, the highlighted chain, is the first one of them. In the information box you can see which stitch, where the stitch is situated. So the first 0 that you see here corresponds to row 0. Counting starts from 0. This is sort of standard in coding nowadays. So again, this is a row or round, however, whatever you want to call it, 0, and this is stitch 0. Again, counting starts from 0. After the vertical symbol here, the pipe, you get another 0 that tells you this is the 0th stitch of the whole project. And in square brackets you see the type of stitch that you have. In this case it's a chain. CH stands for a chain in standard crochet language anyway. Here you see some context where this chain is situated with respect to the rest of the instructions you've inputted here on the left. And this second line gives you a little bit more context, another level of context, which we can talk about later. Okay, so let me start the project again from the beginning. Again, this is the first stitch. Let's add the next stitch. Again, there's supposed to be 9 of them. Here they are, 9 chains. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 stitches. Then, what happens next? Well, according to these instructions, we're gonna turn the project, skip 1 stitch, and then we're gonna do a half double crochet increase. We're gonna stitch 2 half double crochets in the next stitch. Let's see how that takes place here. 1, 2, there they are. And as you can see in the information box here, this is the stitch that was just crocheted. After that, there will be 3 half double crochets following in each of the next 3 stitches. So let's see them. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then there will be 3 double crochets. 1, 1, 2, 3. And as you can see, the double crochets are slightly taller, as you might expect, as you should expect. And then we have 5 double crochet stitches in the next stitch. This is an increase. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Then what happens? Well, this dot R, don't worry about it for now. It's a label for these stitches. Again, don't worry about it for now. Then we turn the project, and we're supposed to do a double crochet at a particular stitch. This symbol tells you where you need to stitch, where you need to attach that stitch. So here it is. Whoops, I typed in something here. All right. And again, these attachment labels, we can learn more about them either by reading the manual, or you can learn more about them either by reading the manual or following hopefully another tutorial that I make about this topic. Okay, so again, similarly, you can just continue following the project as you go along. Now, what about the blue and the red lines that you see here? Well, with crocheting, as you know, you attach stitches one at a time, and there is a definite direction in which you're stitching, in which you're crocheting. So here you can see you're going around. First, we started with a chain, and then we started going around that chain. So the blue arrows that you see here show you how stitches connect to each other in that natural progression of crocheting. The red arrows show you where each stitch, let's say this double crochet here, the stitch in the second, again starting from 0, in the second row or second round if you want, counting from 0, that means the 6th stitch in the second row, where it was attached. Well, it was attached in the stitch right here, which was one of the chains, one of the first chain 9s. Okay, so again, red and blue arrows show you how a stitch attaches to all the other stitches, and these purple spheres that you see here indicate the top of the stitches, the usual V pattern at the top of each crocheting stitch that you make. So where do we go from here? Well, you can visualize the project in all kinds of ways. So again, here we defined a violet color for the project. So let me show actually all the stitches. You can change the colors, you can explore what happens when you change the thickness of the yarn. Okay, so now it looks more like a baby booty instead of a project filled with holes. So something like this. And of course, the quality can't be perfect if you want this to run in any finite amount of time on your machine. But you can always export this three-dimensional view and import it in Blender, for example, which is a three-dimensional software which can allow you to add more realism to your projects in case you wanted that. Let's say you can add fur here to make the yarn look more natural. You can add gravity. You can turn this into a cloth so it can actually behave like a cloth if you shake it around, and so on. Anyway, another goal of this project is hopefully in education, because you can, as you can see, these crocheting instructions look a lot like, well, like a coding language. In a lot of ways, that's true for any crocheting instructions, even ones written in plain English. Here, when I was designing the project, I made sure that the instructions read, well, are as precise as possible, because you know, I'm sure you've encountered situations where you're trying to follow instructions, crochet instructions posted on the internet or written in books, and sometimes there are ambiguities about stitch placement, or there could be just typographic errors. Turns out on a particular row there are too many stitches and they don't fit. So with this language that I developed for my project, all these ambiguities are gone, but that necessarily turns the language into more like a actual coding language, an actual programming language. So for anybody in education, whether you're a teacher or whether you're just helping out your friends, by learning this language, you're both learning crocheting and the basics of coding, how to think like a coder. The project, I'm going to switch gears now. I just want to show you there are all kinds of different demonstrations that I've included in the project, showing different types of crocheting. So you can do Irish crocheting with this website. You can do your typical granny square edgings. You can do amigurumi. You can do projects in 2 dimensions and 3 dimensions. And yeah, please explore and see whether you like it. Let me just show you a few. So this is a filet crochet. This is how I made the logo for the website. This is a hat in 3 dimensions, and let me just render it in gray just so you can see it. There it is. This is an Irish doily. This takes a long time to compute. On my computer, all these times that you see here are how long they take on my computer. I have a small laptop. On my computer, this renders in about 20 minutes. Because yeah, it's a project which has more than 10,000 stitches. And by the way, this project here is is in the public domain, and it's posted on the Antique Pattern Library. This is the Swirls doily pattern, which I actually opened right here. So you can see this is again from the book, which is again in the public domain, so I'm not violating copyright here. You can see what it looks like when it was actually crocheted back, I don't know, 70, 80 years ago. And this is what my code generated as a 3-dimensional pattern, which you can rotate and you can see what the stitches look like. This is just a stocking. Just to finish through some of these examples, this is just a simple swatch demonstrating different types of stitches: slip stitches, single crochet, half double crochets, double crochets, trebles, baubles, popcorns, all kinds of things. And this is just a baby blanket, which includes a single pattern of a stitch just repeated over and over again. So why does it take so long for some of these projects? Well, because a lot of these all of these calculations are done on your device. So if your device is slower than mine, just scale the times appropriately, or if it's faster, same. Now, why is the computation happening on your computer, well, on your device? Because the reason for that is privacy. When you're typing in instructions here, you're guaranteed that they're not transmitted over the internet, so nobody's collecting information on what you're designing. But that also, as a side effect, means calculations will be slow. So yeah, in terms of the language, again, you can look at the manual. There are keyboard shortcuts that I've been using throughout this tutorial that that you should look at. They will help you switch views here in the 3-dimensional view. And I can make more tutorial videos to walk you through all of that. You can also change the layout. You can just look at the 3-dimensional view if you wanted to, or the editor. And you can export your project. You can save the instructions as text, or you can print them with the highlights, or again, export the 3-dimensional model to Blender, or save. Let me just show you. You can also save, I'm just going to show you the Irish crochet pattern. This is a 2-dimensional model, as you can see. You can save your instructions as an image, which gives you all kinds of stitch information. It tells you for every stitch, okay, so this is a chain which connects with another chain and so on. This is the picot of the flower. So you can follow these SVG graphics. You can follow these as just normal crochet diagrams if you wanted to follow a printed out version of the model. And with that, I'm going to end. Take care, everybody.